In the wasteland of Ultraviolence, there is a punk rock deathmatch warrior who built a legacy that is part grindhouse cinema and part underground basement show, but there was more to him than just blood and broken glass. He brought something rare into the deathmatch scene: humor. Like a punk frontman cracking a joke between songs before diving into the crowd, he could make fans laugh one moment and cringe the next. His sense of humor outside the ring made him a cult favorite with legions of fans, a bizarre juxtaposition to the sight of him bleeding buckets inside the ring. This is the story of Jeff Cannonball, the everyday man turned cult icon of combat zone wrestling and beyond, in the dimension of the imagination. I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and you are now in the middle ground between light and shadow, between fact and fiction. It is an area which we call From Parts Unknown.
I've been telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes?
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
Threaten them. I'll threaten them for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it till you're cursed.
Jeff Cannonball stormed into combat zone wrestling in the mid-2010s with a look that screamed DIY hardcore, with an aura that was equal parts friendly and terrifying. He wasn't a sculpted monster or a technical genius. He was punk rock to the core, raw, loud, bloody, and in CZW, that was enough to make him stand out.
Month after fucking month, I do everything this company asks for. Month after month, they make me sit in the fucking corner like security. My name is Jeff Cannonball, and I'm not security.
It's funny. Actually, that reminds me of something. I remember it was some interview or something I saw with Danny Havoc, where he talks about how people don't realize how much all this stuff hurts so much. Because like you said, you get up and you finish the match and you walk away, and you know, some guys will be hanging out after the show and you'll see, like, you know, you see one of the wrestlers and they'll just be hanging out kind of normal. And it kind of almost downplays how much all this stuff really hurts. Like the pane of glass thing, like I said, it hurt more than I said. I knew it was gonna hurt. I just remember having it, like, feeling it and like, oh, that was much worse than I thought. And like, I feel like that's how a lot of people will look at barbed wire and be like, oh, that person just laid in and they got up and now they're off doing more moves or continuing to work. But that shit sucks too. Like, it hurts so much. And I think people just don't realize how much all of this hurts. Like, the thumbtack bats, like, thumbtacks was the first thing I've done as far as deathmatch goes. That was the first thing I had to experience. And it sucks so much. But, you know, it's just part of it. And I love deathmatches and I love doing them so much. And I'm a huge fan of, like, that, what I would say, like the freak show vibe of them, where you'll have the normal wrestling and then all of a sudden it'll be like, all right, now we have this, and people are gonna ooh and ah, and it's gonna be like that car accident effect. And I'm a huge fan of that reaction from the crowd, like the groan and even though you get that groan, I still feel like a lot of people don't realize how bad some of this stuff hurts, because we get up and we keep going, and that's more because, you know, we're not intelligent people doing it. We're just idiots who have probably more wrong with us than most wrestlers, and we're cutting ourselves up and we're falling on the thumbtacks and barbed wire and glass and all this stuff, and it sucks so much, but I love it.
Mr. Cannonball, that Matt Tremont is the last entrance into Tournament of Death. If you want death, I'll offer you death, but there's only one way you can do it. You owe me a favor, but
that was a different time.
only the thing you want you to
Like any deathmatch disciple, Jeff Cannonball's true initiation came in the glass-strewn battleground of Tournament of Death. At Tournament of Death 15, Cannonball faced none other than the bulldozer, Matt Tremont, in a match that would forever become viral on the internet. This is where many, to this day, will see Cannonball for the first time without ever knowing his name. But the CZW faithful knew instantly that day that Jeff Cannonball truly belonged.
As this afternoon continues to roll on here in the Ultraviolent Underground.
And just like I am with music, when I fell in love with punk and hardcore music at an early age, it's just music dialed up. It's so much more intense. So when I found Ida Ray, King of the Death from Japan, with Foley and Punk, the ECW or whatever it was just more turning the knob up, more intense wrestling, and I loved it right off the bat. And I'd already wanted to be a wrestler since the first time I was ever asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then seeing that, I was like, oh, now I want to do that too. I love all wrestling. I watch so much World of Sport Wrestling. That's a hard one for this new tongue. That I don't think people would believe me. I've had conversations with Jonathan Gresham and Tony Devin about the wrestling of World of Sport. I don't want to know. But unfortunately, that was never going to be me. I loved deathmatch from middle school. It's when I first remember buying tapes off eBay to see, Big Japan and whatever. I fell in love with it, and to me, when done right, it's just another form of wrestling. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and obviously, when it's done wrong, it's kind of a joke. But we've all seen luchadors and technical wrestling go wrong, and that's silly too. It just doesn't. It's not as ugly and not as easy to put online with fancy tagline about some idiot stabbing themselves in the arm with a body stab. Every single match now in deathmatch, there's a moment where somebody takes a gusset blade and just punches into somebody's arm. And I think that is so overdone and so boring. Like, there's so many ways to start bleeding that everybody just went to this one. It's easy to get a lot of blood, but as a fan of wrestling, watching it is so boring to me. It's very much the older cliche of older death matches where you just walk around and stab. That's all it really is, but instead you're just punching into somebody's head or arm, which I'll admit, I was guilty of a small amount of times, but now I feel like you can't watch, most deathmatch shows without seeing that.
I worked so fucking hard to be here. I busted my ass in crappy North Jersey companies for the past 5-6 years. I show up early, I help set the ring up, I do everything I can because this is the only place I ever wanted to be. And now, these other people just come in and walk in and they just take their spot. Do you know how that makes me feel?
It's MDK. Mr. Hargrave, all motherfucking dead. Parts unknown, motherfuckers. You fuck with them, you fuck with me. You fuck with me, I send someone with a ski mask to their house with a weapon in their motherfucking hand. Leave them alone.
Cannonball's wars read like a roll call of CZW's modern horror icons. Matt Tremont, Joe Gacy, and G. Raver, all men who thrived on chaos. Against Tremont, Cannonball showed that he could match the bulldozer, strike for strike. Against Joe Gacy, their clashes became meetings of sadists, where pain was currency and neither man ever went broke.
And guys like Danny Havoc and Sammy Callahan in CZW and they made me go, I want to try this again. I was in college, and in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm doing the responsible thing, but let me give this a shot and see if, see what happens for fun. All right, so at my first TOD, when it was still at its peak, also, it was TOD 15, Tournament of Death, if you all don't know. And I will be honest with you, I cried in the back of a ring truck. I went and hid in a ring truck and just cried because in my mind, that was, I made it. That's what I wanted to do. Going to CZW, I went to CZW every month for a year. As a fan, probably even after I started wrestling, to wrestle at Tournament of Death against Matt Fremont, who is fucking Matt Fremont. He was already who he is. Unbelievable. If that was the last thing I ever did, it would have been fine.
Cannonball's path would not end in CZW. He brought Ultraviolence everywhere, from IWA Mid-South to H2O Wrestling, carrying with him the punk ethos that made him beloved and eternally remembered. Jeff Cannonball may never have been CZW's world champion, but in deathmatch wrestling, belts don't define legacies, blood does. And by that measure, Cannonball is royalty. His story is one of grit, humor, and gallons of crimson spilled in the name of punk rock, Ultraviolence.